Hello, friends. I am Neeraj. Welcome to the concluding episode of Full Stack Web Development using React.js and GoFiber. In this session, we will deploy our application in a Docker container. In order to do so there are a couple of ways. Uh, One way is that we can copy our source code into Docker container, and we can compile over there. And second approach is that we can create our binary files and compile our files into our development machine, and we can copy the binary file into the Docker container, and we can run from there. Okay. And that is since our application is a very lightweight and very small project, so I think that I would be going the other way, that I will compile all my files on my local machine, on my development machine, and I will copy the compiled binary into the Docker container. Okay. And inside the Docker container, so we will need a Nginx web server to serve the static our client files, React.js application. And for the MySQL, so I am going to use my MySQL running on my host machine instead of having a separate container for the MySQL. But we can go that way, no problem with that. For a larger application, so ideally it's better to have separate services for each and every applications, like MySQL running in a separate container, Nginx running in a separate container, like that. So, but that way, so we can use Docker Compose as well. But for this tutorial or for this session, so I am going to use one single Docker file, and I have noted down the steps what we will need. So we will need Nginx server, and MySQL would be running on my host machine. So first of all, so like we will need to compile our Go application. So this is the command which we will run, and this flag is be required because by default that with the Nginx image, so that is Alpine image, and with the Alpine image, so we will need to disable to have this flag, this CGU enable flag to 0, so that our compiled binary would be statically linked. Okay. And secondly, so we will compile our React application. And by the way, this is the command, so we will do that. So first of all, so let's proceed. So first of all, so we will need to create a Docker file at the very root level, top level. So here we will start with the from, and I am going to use Nginx Alpine one. Alpine is a very lightweight one, so that's why. So I'm going to with that way. And by the way, so I have all created this Nginx configuration file, so which we will copy from our source Nginx. Sorry, not this current directory, and the name is default.conf. And this file we will need to copy at this location inside the container, etc nginx conf.d default.conf. Okay. So this way, so what I am doing it, that I am simply copying this file, this default configuration file, into the inside the container at this location. And by the way, so this is simply a pretty straightforward the running I mean serving the static files. So there is nothing important with it, nothing complex, pretty straightforward. Okay. Then I'll start the work dir, and our work dir would be blog. Second, I'll copy from client, and every content in the build directory, and from the build directory to this location var www html So this way, what I am doing that we are copying all the clients build directory, the content from the build directory into the this location. Next, we will copy. We'll also better to use the capitalize. So next, we will also copy from our server directory. There is a env.prod file. So that way, so I am going to use a different environment file for the production and copy to the current working directory. Next, I'll copy from server build build, and the name of the compiled file would be server. I'm going to copy it here. And next, we will need to expose a few port. So first port, so we will need port 80, where our Nginx would listen. And we will also need to expose port 8000. Remember, our API server is running on port 8000. So that's why we will need to do that. Next, we will create an entry point. And this is here actually, I am going to create a executable file. So then as such, and I'm going to create a custom startup file so that I can specify the commands over there. Okay. So next, we will need to create a new file, startup.sh. And in this file, so first of all, so we will need to have the bash shebang line. It's bin sh. And first of all, so I will need to prod. I just need to rename this file. And once renamed, so I will delete this prod file. Second, we will need to make the file executable server. And now, so we will need to start our Nginx as well as our by our compiled binary. So we will say Nginx -g daemon on, so that it would run in a background as a background process. And we will also need to run the server. So that's it. So our startup is also complete. And now it's time to land into the terminal. And first of all, so we will need to compile, so build our client application. So npm run build. So it may take some time. So, and once this is done, then are we missing some other stuffs? So yes, so by the time, so it is doing, so we will compile our Fiber app as well. So we will cd server, and we will paste it, and it will hit enter. So it has created, it should create a, yes, the build folder directory is there, and the name of the file is the server. So I think like we have completed our stuffs. Now it's time to finally build the image. Okay, so let me clear the screen. So we will say Docker build, and the tag would be, let's say I am going to name it blog app from the current directory. Oh, not this, from this one, because actually we will need to come to the place where our Docker file is there. So Docker build -t blog app from the current directory. So let's wait. It may take some time. So it will pull the base image from the Docker Hub. And once this is done, so we can start and we can run our application in the container. Looks like this is done. So now it's time to run our container, and we can also cross check here. So when this image has been created, and now let's try to run this image. So we will say Docker run. We want to name our container as, let's say, blog count. So we will need to map the port. So I want the port from the host machine from 8080 to port 80 inside container. And we will also need to map another port 8000 from the host machine to inside the container 8000 as well. And we want it to run in an interactive mode. And we can also, RM is to delete any previous instances of this container, this image. Okay, so blog app, so looks okay. So hit enter. So looks like there is some problem. Okay, bin as such looks like okay. So this was the culprit. So now it should. So we will need to create the another. I'm just building it again. I forgot a slash here. So let's wait. Okay. Can't open a startup.sh file. So had we copied it? Okay, no. Oh, sorry. So we will also, although we created this file, so but we will also need to copy this startup.sh file. Otherwise, it won't understand, isn't it? So, okay, so let's do it one more time. So, okay, so image got built. And now it's time to run the container. So yes, so our Nginx has also started and our Fiber app has also running. So now it's time to test it. So we will say localhost port 8080 and looks everything is running fine. So we can open a blog title, full blog, and we can update it, and let's say call it Docker. We will save it. So yes, it is updated. So perfect. We can also just try to delete one stuff. So let us try to delete it. Proceed. So yes, it's got deleted. So we can also cross check here. So this is in use, and we can come here and check the containers. So this is running. It started 1 minute ago, and we can also check the details. So here we can also check like the blog is here, and this is the environment file which we created from the startup.sh file. This is our server, and if we come back to try to see the content of our Word www HTML, so it is, so we have only copied the minified compiled JavaScript files. Okay, so that is one way. So and however we can, as I explained earlier, that we can also go other way as well, that we can have a separate container for the server, separate one for the Nginx, and separate one for the client, and the fourth one where for the MySQL running in a separate entirely new container. But since this is our application was a very small application, and it was mostly for a learning purpose, So that is why I prefer to go with a simple single Docker file instead of a Docker Compose. Okay. And there is one more benefit. However, this is my personal view. I am not opposing anything, but I think like on my server, wherever my all the applications are installed, so I prefer to have a global MySQL installation so that I can manage it very easily. So in one MySQL installation, so I am having having multiple applications sharing the same database or or multiple DBs. So that way, so however, I mean, this is, as I said, this is my personal view. So we can go other way as well, using a separate MySQL running in a entirely new separate container as a service. Okay, so that's all for this session. And if you have anything to say, so please do let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. So till then, take care and happy coding.